Great. That's nice. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to City Light. The sun is out. It's a nice day. I'm Linda Bown. I'm going to be your host. I have Colin Loiselle, my town manager in Tyngsborough.
Good morning.
And my favorite councilor ever, Rita Mercier.
My little darling. Thank you, Linda.
So
nice to meet you, Colin.
Yeah.
A pleasure.
So 2 leaders, and it is good. I think when I kind of put that together, I thought it's good to have Lowell and Tyngsborough together.
Yes,
and
I
there are
think
things
it's wonderful.
that we can do together. And I think one of the things, starting with that, Rita, we talked about an art walk during the folk festival, so we have to really move on with that with Camille, and
Oh, yeah.
that would be a wonderful thing.
Oh, yes, that would be
To-
wonderful.
What's
Because
that-
you know our city seal is art is the handmaid of human goods, so
Yeah.
art is very important. I'm hearing things that are sad about cuts being less money coming in for the arts and the MRT and different things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's
Everybody's going to suffer a little bit about the cuts.
well, maybe the art community itself will step up.
Yeah, I hope
Because
so.
I would love to see on the All Gallery, which is right, it backs up to the Worthen.
Mm-hmm.
I would love them to do a mural facing the Worthen.
We had a wonderful time at the Brush Art Gallery
Yes, we
dinner,
did.
didn't we? What a show that they put on. It
Yeah.
was a beautiful event.
And there are over 600 artists in Lowell. So there's a reason to, and if you were to have, when we were talking, to have, like Camille is very excited about it as well, to have a walk and get the people, because it's all right there. You have the All Gallery, you have Brush, you have
Yeah.
Whistler House,
Yes,
which
you
is
do.
a big part of.
And I love art, but they don't appreciate the fact that I could only draw stick figures. They don't like it, but that's all right. Anyway,
So I think that's it. So Colin,
Yes.
I don't even know what to say about my town meeting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was
Yeah,
it,
the
43
budget-
minutes?
I think it was 43 minutes.
43 minutes for the budget. Oh, my
No,
goodness.
the whole town meeting.
Oh,
was-
my.
19 warrant articles, including the budget.
I'm
Not even a
impressed.
question
Yeah.
about just Zoom.
I'm very
I
impressed.
just, yeah, oh, yeah. It was like, I'm glad I was a little late and I almost missed the whole bloody thing.
Wow.
That's the only risk with short town meetings. If you run just a few minutes late, you
Woo.
can miss all the excitement.
Yeah, there wasn't no excitement. I thought it was going to be somewhat controversial. I thought the fire station would be controversial.
You know, I think what made the fire station not controversial at this stage is that everybody agrees we need to build a new one.
I understand that.
And I know there's been a lot of talk about the location of the fire station. The schematic design we can put anywhere. So while we've targeted the Winslow School site for a new fire station, whether it's in place of the existing Winslow School or behind it, if town meeting was to, at a subsequent meeting, approve CPC funding to do something to the Winslow School, which the Historical Commission's looking at, we could take the schematic design and put it on any other piece of raw land in town. So I think that alleviated some of the concerns that folks had about designing a new fire station, because I don't think there's a disagreement that our fire station is woefully inadequate, and quite frankly,
Oh.
nowhere near where it should have been 15 or 20 years ago.
Right.
The big question, of course, once we complete the schematic design and have a better idea of the cost, is when is the right time? When can people afford to
Never,
build a new
of
fire
course.
station? Which is a really tough question.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
I just, and I would hate to see them have to talk about expense, buy more land.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's any other location.
We focused early in the winter, the select board tasked me and Chief Russell with identifying the best parcel, and a big part of that equation was avoiding having to buy land. For years, we talked about potentially purchasing land from the Academy of Notre Dame. They had expressed interest in selling a portion of their land on Westford Road, and I think in late 2023 said they were pausing any conversations about that. As far as raw municipal land, you know, the fire station has to be in the center of town because they're responding from the station. Police, we could put them anywhere because they're out patrolling. The location is relatively irrelevant. The Winslow School site is the only municipally owned site in that area that is ready to go and could be used.
Right,
Right away.
even if we were to buy a piece, I'm trying to think where you would buy a piece that wouldn't need a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only piece of land that was ready if we bought it was the land that the Academy of Notre Dame owns.
Yeah.
And for, 3 or 4 years ago, we looked at 50 Westford Road, but
Yeah.
of course, they're investing millions of dollars right now to build a new temple
Yes,
on the site, so that's, out of the question at this
right,
point.
right. Well, I just think the only issue about the Winslow site, I think you could still keep the Winslow school. I mean, we've got all that land behind it.
Yeah.
Is you're gonna have to think, you can't come out onto Middlesex Road. We'll all die. I mean, come on.
That'll be the headline, we'll all die.
You don't want me talking at that meeting, obviously.
No, what we would certainly need to, we haven't spent a lot of money to do the civil engineering side, but the consultants that we worked with confirmed we could put a fire station behind the Winslow School. It's not ideal because we lose the ability to do drive-through bays, but we don't have drive-through bays now, and we make it work.
Right.
The traffic piece would certainly require a new signalized intersection on Middlesex Road.
Wait a minute, what about where the tennis courts were?
That would be connected. It wouldn't be, the turning radiuses, particularly if the Winslow School stays where it is, wouldn't be sufficient for the apparatus to go in and out of. So what you would likely see is that the driveway onto Middlesex, which would become signalized, would be exclusively for the trucks and the ambulance, and then residents, visitors, all of their, business traffic would come in off Kendall.
Yeah. I mean, it's feasible. I was
feasible,
kidding.
but we certainly would need to put a new, you'd have to tie a new light with the bridge so that you're dumping all of the traffic going south on Middlesex.
Yeah.
Because 9 out of 10 times, that's the direction the truck would be going.
Okay. Because I went, when I was going to college, I used to do all my studying at the library, and it was taking my life in my hands.
Oh,
Even
absolutely.
back then,
Yeah.
coming out, it's a little tricky.
Yeah.
It's steep. I bet you could do some grading. I'm sure you could do something. You could make it work.
Yeah, we could. It certainly would require the signalized intersection. Even right now, the traffic going over the bridge lately has been so terrible that it backs up past the Kendall Road station.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't even want to be on my side of the road.
No.
No.
And MassDOT
Back
came
to
out.
Ironwood.
Oh, yeah. MassDOT did come out and they adjusted the light because for the longest time the Frost Road intersection was screwed up. Well, in doing that, they made it even worse trying to get over the bridge. I noticed that the left-hand turn off Middlesex onto the bridge is longer. It used to let a half a car through. Now it's letting 11
Yes,
or
that's
12,
much
even if
improved.
it doesn't need it though, which I think is causing some of those backups.
Well, whatever happened to smart lights?
We don't know how to program it.
Yeah.
I want to see if you were paying attention, John.
No, Linda, that's the real problem. We buy all these nice gadgets, and we don't have personnel trained to fix them. Now, Rita gets the lights fixed probably 3 or 4 times a year right down here on the corner of Highland, Elm, and Gorham Street. This afternoon, beginning at 3:30, the traffic's going to back up on the Lowell connector all the way to Plain Street because of that traffic light. So I call Rita, and Rita will say, okay, I'll get it fixed. I want it to say green 45 seconds on Gorham Street and 15 seconds on Highland. It's not hard. So they have to, but as soon as we have a power outage, it goes
Yeah, it
back to
goes
30
back to
seconds
the-
and 30 seconds.
Well,
Do you need it done again? You need it
Yeah.
done again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't there a person that handles that?
Seems like it's
What?
Councilor
We
Mercier
would need a
handles it.
manager that knows what we need a manager that knows what he's doing, but we're not gonna go there today.
No, not
okay?
today.
So, Colin, what you need to do is find out in the town, how do you show me, come into my office and show me how to program a traffic light. Prove to me you can do the job. Not I can do it. Prove to me you can program these traffic lights. And if you can't, I'm gonna send you out to Cincinnati to learn. Because we gotta get this right, because my time's just as important as yours.
absolutely.
And to sit in traffic unnecessarily because we have we have a smart traffic light with a dummy operating the controls. We need to train somebody.
Oh, absolutely. And what's unique about these lights, these are under MassDOT jurisdiction, so it's even more complicated because we notice
You
it.
call Mark Crabman. Mark
reach out
Crabman
to me.
fixes it in an instant.
They are
Well, that's
relatively quick,
Oz.
but we're,
Yep.
Call.
Call over to Oz.
Yeah.
No, he's in charge, isn't he, of something like that?
He's a big shot with the,
Yeah, you have to give him Mark's number. he could really help on that.
Okay. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please, because that's one of the things he does
Perfect.
in the real world.
Excellent.
Not in Oz, but in the real world. We're
The
catching
Wizard
up
of
to him
Oz.
in Oz, because Tyngsborough is doing some great things.
We are.
We're going to have outdoor concerts.
Wow.
Yes, summer series.
Now, that's it. Tell the people a little bit. That's kind of exciting. Tell people where that is, because I didn't know. I've only been in the town for 7, 8 years. I didn't know where Ironwood was.
Yeah, Ironwood is an incredibly exciting opportunity. It's on the site of the former Tyngsborough Country Club. Many people may remember 3 or 4 years ago when town meeting adopted a zoning change that permitted the Toll Brothers to construct 100 age-restricted units on part of the golf course. As a part of that development agreement, they donated 35 plus acres of land to the town, and we've spent $1.3 or $1.4 million in CPC funding to construct walking trails. I mean, there's 11 or 12 different sport courts, pickleball, basketball, bocce. If you want to play it, it's there. The rec committee is hosting a grand opening on June 7th from 10 to 4. It's going to be combined with our annual health and safety fair, so it'll be a huge event. And as a part of it, there's a new pavilion that's almost complete. I just drove by yesterday. I think they're just finishing the roof now. And so they're going to start a summer concert series. It won't be late into the night. There's a residential neighborhood really close. But it's a great opportunity. We were talking about arts before the show started. It's a great opportunity to showcase local musicians. Every time we have musicians at the block party, it's a huge success.
Yeah.
This year, they're opening a second performance area just because the crowd inside that primary one by the First Parish gets pretty packed. So that's starting June 7th. I think they're doing them every other week, as long as we have people that are willing to perform. And if you're a local artist and you want to perform, you don't have to be in Tyngsborough. You can be anywhere in the region. You can reach out to our rec department. And
I'm going to try to reach out. I'm sure he's busy, but Charlie Konopoulos, I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh, yes, yeah.
He's a fabulous performer, fabulous guitarist, and he's from town.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of, I'll kind of try to see if I can talk to him. And as I say, I don't know what his schedule is, but he'd be a great.
That would be very
great calling card for the town. But I'm very pleased, and again to Allison, she's just a rec director is really quite amazing.
She has a lot of energy. She's got a lot of really good ideas.
Yes.
4 or 5 times a day, she stands in the doorway to my office with a new idea, and I get nervous every time because she dreams very big, and we have to pay for everything. But somehow between her and the dozens of volunteers that she has for every event, these things just get bigger and bigger.
Okay. Deborah Gassi mentioned to me, what about the bus, getting the businesses perhaps that do, and we've had good luck with businesses doing things in town, that would pay for a bus to pick up the people in the housing.
So it's funny you mentioned that. We spent a lot of time last summer and into the fall working with the LRTA on a potential bus expansion. There's a couple challenges. The housing the Brindley Terrace on Middlesex Road.
They can't turn around.
They can't turn around. That's not a problem that you can't overcome. When we looked at adding the bus, basically taking what is the seasonal Christmas time bus that comes all the way up Middlesex Road to the Pheasant Lane Mall, if we made that operate 7 days a week on a regular schedule, it was going to cost the town somewhere in the $350,000 a year ballpark. It's incredibly pricey. We did reach out to the casino, which just opened up, because if you think about who's going to benefit the most, if this bus is starting at the Gallagher Terminal, going through Lowell, through Chelmsford into Tyngsborough, it's the casino that's going to experience the best benefit.
Yes.
They were, we started this conversation right as they were planning their grand opening, so they wanted to make sure that they were going to be successful first. They weren't interested in helping support the cost at that point, but they did tell us to check back this summer. So now that they've been open for quite a bit of time, the traffic is certainly indicative that they're doing well. So it is something, we did think about asking some of the other businesses along Middlesex Road. When you think of a place like Epigram, which is incredibly busy all the time, those aren't places where people are taking the bus to get to. So it would be really unfair.
No one could take the bus to it. That's the other thing. Why they would charge us all these years? We really have not had bus service.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on the bus line according to the governor, and she's all excited.
The
but-
bus is free now.
Yeah, it's free in Lowell.
That's part, yeah.
But you have to jump out into the middle of Middlesex
you
Road,
gotta
and I don't know if you survive.
You gotta give them a hearty wave.
We're in the country, John. We're not. I mean, they're not looking. They're not
And to be
expecting
clear,
to
the
see
bus is
people.
currently
Yes,
not
they
on
are.
Middlesex
The
Road.
LRTA guys and gals, you're just gonna give them a hearty wave, and they'll pull over for you. There's cameras on the bus, and they don't want to get in trouble. So the cameras record, oh, look at, Linda was in the street giving you a hearty wave.
You remember, you just hit her in the hip. That's all. Just that little nudge.
So you need to give them a hearty wave, and they'll pick you up. And also, if you call the LRTA and say, look, I'm going to be on Snagglepuss Road, and the bus goes right by, can you have them pick me up? They'll tell the driver who's going down Snagglepuss Road, hey, watch for Linda.
Hey, you know, when we get Phil
Communication is helpful.
Yes, is Tom Bowman still on? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was here Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe because Phil has had a health issue, but he's doing better. Maybe why wouldn't the buses during the folk festival and stuff pick up people, make a special?
They do.
They do.
People just don't. Linda, the buses have been free for like 6 months, maybe at least 90 days. Nobody's riding them. It's just, it's a resource people just, it's a lot easier to get in my car. And it's a lot easier to just hop on the freaking bus and go up to Nash, party, and then find out when the bus, there's an app to tell you exactly where the bus is. You can go back outside and hop back on the bus.
So, John, how are the restaurants at Nash? Weren't you going to eat at one of them?
They were closed every time I went, Rita. But the reports I got, last night we went to dinner at a place called Sear in Drake. It was absolutely delicious. And one of the guys, Steve Plant, he's eaten at the Nash, and he said it was beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, really? Really? I wondered,
Good food.
yeah.
So,
Well, we'll
Oh, I'm
have to
sorry.
check that out, Rita.
Yeah, we will.
So, well, and how has that worked out for the town?
Traffic has certainly increased, nothing terrible. There haven't been, people were worried that there'd be an increase in use of our public safety resources because the entire parking lot is in Tyngsborough.
Yes.
That hasn't come to fruition. One of the positive things, John mentioned the restaurants being closed. I've heard quite a bit that they're still struggling with staff, so the restaurants aren't open as much as you would expect them to be. So our restaurants on Middlesex Road have been incredibly packed. I mean,
That's
3
excellent.
times in the last couple of weeks, I tried to get a table at Tavern in the Square at like 5:30, 6 o'clock on a Sunday, and you can't because it's
No kidding.
incredibly packed.
yeah, your Tavern on the Square is great.
Fantastic.
Tyngsborough, we've been there a couple of times. Delicious.
They do a great job.
Yeah, it's good. And I'm glad it's helping the businesses.
Oh, absolutely. Epigram, I mean, they're packed constantly. Even Modest Roots, which is a smaller brewery on the south side of Middlesex, almost in Chelmsford, I go by there a couple times on the weekend, and they are just as packed as well.
Do you ever go home?
Occasionally. From time to time. From time to time.
Boy, you're around a lot. I'm not complaining. I'm very happy that you're around in
Well, there's a
Milwaukee.
lot of really good things happening. We have a lot of great businesses, a lot of new ones opening. There's lots of local events. There's a lot of reasons to.
Well, I know that they're pretty, the businesses have always stepped up in
Absolutely.
town. And
Is the Olive Garden in Tyngsborough?
It is.
Oh,
Another gem.
I know, I love that.
I know she does. That's
I'm
one of her
hungry
fa-
thinking about it.
I think they open for lunch at 10:30, so.
Oh, wow. So, and has the other marijuana shop open yet?
They have not. They're getting close. I expect that they'll be before the planning board on Thursday. They had some issues with their site plan. The as-built did not conform to the site plan the planning board approved, which is always a problem. So they've been working diligently to address it. The biggest issue is that they put the wrong curb in.
Oh,
Our planning board has a strong preference for, and they agreed to as a part of their special permit for granite curbing. It's more expensive, but it's got a lot of safety benefits. It lasts longer. They did a bit berm instead, which is a much cheaper asphalt berm. So they tore that out, and they've got a lot of granite lining the parking lot right now to be installed. So they had hoped, and the weather's cooperated for the last couple of
Yeah.
days, that they'd be ready to.
yeah, I saw the granite. I said, oh, naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised, and the state would have picked up on that as well, I'm sure.
Linda, you got somebody in the audience picking on you.
I have to tell them, oh, I'm sorry. Mercier and Bown, the dynamic duo, both have the most amazing accents I've ever heard Dowling, ooh and ah.
Oh, wow.
I did, we didn't
Very
realize
nice.
that.
I did not, no.
Well, like little bookends, and Colin is in the middle
I
here.
love it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, my
Well, thank you,
goodness.
thank you.
That's
We've
wonderful.
Been around for a long time, it seems. How are things in Lowell?
Things are okay. We're kind of spoiled with the ARPA funding because we kind of did the things that we desperately needed to do, but then we know that sometimes good things come to an end, and that's going to come to an end soon. And things still break down, and we still need more to do. Just when you fix one thing, 5 other things go. You know that,
Like
being
your
a
house.
town manager. Yeah, no doubt. But anyway, our budget, we got presented the budget last night. It's 748 pages, so I better start reading when I get
You'll be
out of
busy.
work today. We set the budget for May 27th on a Tuesday. Now, Colin, you just did your budget
Yes.
town meeting and everything in 48 minutes?
Yeah, I
So-
think we spent probably a total of 3 minutes on the budget.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
But
amazing.
he did, in fairness, you had several things on cable.
Yeah, one of the things
I mean-
we do, we do a pre-town meeting the week before so people can come and learn about it. I presented it to the select board 4 or 5 times, and then we did 3 separate budget office hours so that people could come get the information beforehand, which I do think helps because, I mean, you talk about 742 pages, ours is certainly not that long, but still, if you're just an average resident going about your day, to expect that you'd show up to town meeting and in the hour and a half town meeting typically lasts, you'd be prepared to vote on a $52.2 million budget is absolutely ludicrous. And so I think we start the budget office hours a
Yeah.
month and a half, 2 months before.
Well, that's why I'm always amazed when I see the Lowell budget, and I know this, a lot goes, behind, not on the actual city council meetings, but behind, you have subcommittee meetings and all of that, so.
Our city budget is $617 million. $617.
And how many pages do you have? It's $1 million a page?
748
Okay,
pages.
so almost $1 million a
But
page.
can I point out a fact, because I'm not making this up, this is actually in the book. One of the pages, page 81 out of that book. Now, listen to this. In fiscal year, let's say 2020, the CIP, that's commercial, industrial, and personal property tax, was 26, we have a dual rate.
Okay.
Yeah, and the dual rate is the CIP, commercial, industrial, and personal property. So it was $26.27 per thousand, but the residential tax was $13.36. Right down until 2025 has reduced, not gone up, but reduced. So I'm going to do this quickly. So in 2021, it was 26, let's say, $26, 22, $25, 23, $24, and let's say last year, the last budget, fiscal year 2025, $22.37. So let's go to the residential tax. 2020, it was $13.36 per thousand. All the way down till 23 was 12. 24 was $11.91 to this last fiscal year. Well, we're still in it, but anyway, because it starts on July 1st. So 2025, the residential property tax was $11.48. So from $13.36 in 2020 to $11.48, since Tom Golden has been there, it's decreased every year. And we've got a lot done. We did a lot done. I could take you on a tour of the city.
How do you do that? How do you lower the tax rate?
He did.
Oh, the taxes are going down?
Well, probably the APA had something to do with it, but we didn't always have it. I don't know about this year.
You do know
fiscal-
about this year.
No, fiscal year. No, it hasn't been set yet, John. Honest to God, I'm not trying to.
I believe you.
It hasn't been set
But
yet,
the
so
forecast is it's raining money at City Hall, and it's our money. It's taxpayer money.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Aren't you glad you get up and come on the show?
I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning
You
to hear
look
this guy.
adorable today. Love your top.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Look
see.
extra pretty.
Oh, boy, you're too much. But anyway, so, I mean, we're talking about the budget. It's a very sensitive issue, but, you know, you have fixed costs. You know that, being the city manager. Pension cost rise, utility cost rises. You can't do anything about it. It's fixed costs from other entities that you have to put into consideration for that. So, I mean, I could have did a whole show on
Yeah.
that alone, but it was a wonderful city council meeting, as it is all the time. We highlight the veterans is what we did. We highlighted the Veteran of the Year, Jack Sullivan. Once a month, they highlight a veteran. We introduced him to the council. And then we have this banner program. And I must say, and I'm going to give a plug to Paul Rutherford, who does a tremendous job, not even being from this country. He's very patriotic and very into the veterans. And he has a banner program with the veterans agent, Eric Lamache, and every year we have new banners that families sponsor and pay for themselves, and then we hang them up. But we had a ceremony whereby each veteran that had a banner for their family, we took pictures, and they came before the council. So that was a nice ceremony.
That's very nice.
Yeah, we do a lot. Then we're going to have another ceremony. So they do really, we cater to our veterans. We appreciate
Yes.
and love them very much. Yeah.
I got 2 comments from the audience. First one's directed to Colin, the second one's for Rita. Good morning. With the curbing installed wrong, who's on the hook to fix it? Did anyone get fired for the screw-up? Because when Lowell officials screw up, they get extensions and raises.
Oh, boy. If you call me and let me know where that they screwed up, I will address it.
Second, bull fertilizer.
Oh,
Bull-
Ms. Mercier is telling lies. I don't think so.
Taxpayers never go.
Taxes never go down. The downtown is empty. They are patting themselves on the back.
Oh,
Thank you for
boy.
your comments. Back to the
Well,
show.
I guess I won't get a vote from that person, but that's okay. I hope I make it again. I don't know. Oh, my goodness.
When it comes to the curbing, that was that was not the town didn't mess up the curbing. The developer put in the wrong curbing, so it's completely on them. They're spending what I can only imagine is an uncomfortably large amount of money to replace it. I would venture to guess, based on the comments the business owner made in the planning board meeting, that the engineer they used probably got fired, but that was a private work. That wasn't town work done wrong.
The only thing I'm interested nowadays in is ballards that go around the building. You got to have some kind of a wicked good barrier that somebody's BMW can't drive into the store. And so this granite curbing is a freaking joke, okay? We had to put a new parking lot out at Tewksbury. And when we bought Tewksbury Funeral Home, we were told, oh, the Tewksbury government's terrible, and blah, 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 blah. We got to deal with them. So went to a Zoom meeting, and the decision makers were there for the parking lot, and they wanted granite here and granite there and granite here. And I said, no, we're not going to do it. And I'm going to explain why. You're not parking here, your mother is. Your mother doesn't enjoy the good eyesight that you have. When you run over a granite curb with your BMW, there's thousands of dollars worth of damage. So we got a bunch of old people like myself utilizing the parking lot. I don't want any of that stuff. None of it. Zippity-doo-dah. And they wanted us to, it's called Dewey Street that it's on at Tewksbury. They want a new granite on that. I says, look, what are we going to do when we get a fireman that's dead and we want to park the fire truck half on the sidewalk? Because when you get a fireman that's dead, the fire truck's out front, the police car, same thing. It's half on the sidewalk. They said, you know what? You make good sense. Forget about the granite. So I discovered just from being on boards, they're regular people. Communicate with them. So I would tell the people that at this marijuana store, it's too late now. How are you going to prevent people from driving their Mercedes or their Ford into the building? What kind of protection do you offer? Because we see it every night on TV. I mean, you hit the gas, the wrong pedal once. I didn't mean to kill anybody today. I didn't want to drive into your store. I made a mistake. And I just think that building people should think about a better way to protect the building permanently. I'm done. Thanks. Communicate.
Yeah, totally correct.
We have good board. I'm on one of the boards, and I think that the whole focus is to work with the resident and the business owner to try to make it. Not, you don't want to punish them for being in business.
Well, the other thing too is they said that the parking spaces have to be 7 feet wide. I said, no, I want 10 feet wide. Why do you want 10 feet wide? Because it's just easier to back into a space that's 10 foot wide rather than
and also
6 feet wide. whatever
open
they
your
say.
door. You don't want to hit. I get very upset when.
I got a bunch of old bucks like myself. Look, I want a big fat parking spot, so.
Yeah.
If you notice the door on my car, I have this heart with wings on it, and people say, that's an odd place to put a decal. Why'd you put a decal on your door? Shouldn't it go in the back of your car? I said, do you know why that's there? It's covering up a hole that someone parked aside of me and shoved the door and put a hole in my door over there. So I put that heart to hold
Aren't you
that.
clever?
That's what I
Hold it
did.
back
and
together again.
I was sad to see that.
Oh, yeah.
It took the paint off and
Well-
it dented it in, and you could see the rust. And
Oh,
I
it's
put it to
terrible.
kind of that's what
Yeah,
happened.
someone hit the rear quarter of my car too. I think it was the rear. But anyway, yeah, that happens.
Those bastards.
It happens. It
So
happens.
could I say something since we're talking about parking and
Go
this,
ahead,
that,
we're
and the
live
other?
TV, go ahead.
I'm just reminding the public, and I have to say this again and again. When you make laws, if you don't communicate with the public, they're not going to know. Just like we made laws on Appleton Street, that if you go into the lot overpass, I know some people don't want to call it that, but you go in it because it isn't a lot overpass. But anyway, and you go into the middle lane, you're going straight across. But if you go to the right in front of Durkin's, that lane takes a right onto Thorndike or downtown or whatever. But people park along there. So the rule that we made to take a right turn, in rush hour traffic, those people that want to take a right are all parked all the way down the street because people are parked along there on the side, by the sidewalk. So I wanted signage there so people would know that you can't park here, no parking here. So that's been corrected, so that's fine. You gotta let people know, and then you have to enforce your rules.
Yeah.
So having said that, we had parking rules recently, some time ago, and and it wasn't just one, it was two different people at two different restaurants, and I don't want to hurt the businesses downtown. God knows they need every cent they can get. They're putting their life savings into an establishment. So the people are coming to run in and get an order, a $20 order, and they come out and get a $25 ticket. I mean, that don't only hurt the person that got the ticket, but it hurts the business as well. So here's the story. I talked right out loud to Terry Ryan, our parking director, wonderful man. Here's the deal, and I'm alerting the public. I know it's a little inconvenient, but go to the kiosk, put in your plate number, and you get a 15-minute parking. You can go in, shoot the breeze, get your meal, and come out. You're not going to get a ticket. Please know that you can do that so that you're not ever going to get a ticket for getting an order to go. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's very important.
Or get yourself a handicap placard and park wherever you want for the
Well,
rest of
you
your
gotta be
life
handicapped
for
first.
free.
Oh, are you saying that you have a handicap placard?
Yes.
Because in what way are you handicapped, John?
I have emphysema.
I have emphysema more or less too, but I won't
Well-
Did a doctor tell you you're handicapped?
Here's what happened.
Wow, I'm shocked to hear
Here's
that.
what happened. I can park free at the beach. It's fantastic. My doctor's office is over at the Lowell General Hospital in one of the side buildings. So I'm looking around for a place to park, no place to park. I had to park in China. So I walked.
So then you developed emphysema for that purpose? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's from smoking. So
I never saw you smoking all the years I've known
I
you.
love smoking. As soon as I get to heaven, I'm going to ask St. Peter, where can I get a pack of cools?
Wow, I never saw you
Oh, I
smoke in a
love-
million years.
I love smoking. So I walk to the office, I go in, sit down, Dr. Sachin Patel, he's my doctor. I said, hey, I had to park in China. You got 5,000 empty parking spots out front for handicap. Give me a handicap placard. He says, well, you have emphysema, you have problems with your legs, so, yeah, I think
You look pretty good to me, I don't get it.
It's like a painting, yeah, it's fake. Inside, I'm deteriorating badly. I'm like the Smith Baker Center. So, I, got my handicap placard, and
Gee,
so
wow.
if you get, in the audience, if you get a handicap placard,
Oh, he's promoting it.
you can park any place you want in downtown, wherever there's a meeting, downtown Boston.
Oh, my goodness.
We don't care, as long as it's outside.
Oh, my God.
It's
I
a
get a
packet.
pacemaker.
It's a packet.
Could I get it with the pacemaker?
Ask you, look at.
No, I don't want it.
Go
I
ask
don't.
for your,
No.
free, zippity doodah.
No,
I
I'm
forgot
not.
to plug the meter. I don't care.
Oh, my
I can park
goodness.
there. I mean, if it says 15-minute pocket, that's enforceable.
Wow.
You have to go by the rules of the sign. But down Happy Hampton Beach, if I have company coming, I move my parking spot. I have a place down Happy Hampton. I go park in the public spot. And so I
With your
have room-
handicap
I have-
parking.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Park there all day for free.
I heard it all today.
So when
My
you go to your
goodness.
dog, if you're an old buckaroo like me,
Oh, my
or as
goodness.
my granddaughter calls it, an old bag of bones, OBB. If you're an OBB, go to your doctor, complain about your legs, your hips, I don't care what it is, get a handicap placard, and you too can be parking for free in
Oh,
downtown.
my goodness.
After this morning, there'll be no more handicap placards available.
Yeah, you
It
There's
works.
a
wiped
bunch
out
of
the
them
whole
out
area.
there, yeah.
Works great.
Oh, my goodness,
Unbelievable.
McD, you're too much.
You should
And then
get
one,
one.
I know that, now you have one that you can just take and put in whatever car you're in.
No, what I did was this, okay, one of the
Oh,
girls, one of the girls works for me, Joanna. She says, how about we scan that? And I'll get you some envelopes to put them in, you can put one in every car. So she
Oh, my
she
goodness.
scans it, prints it, and there's one in every single car that I
Oh,
drive.
my
I just-
God. I hope the Lowell
Every
Police
week.
Department ain't listening. You're in a lot of trouble.
Most police departments
gonna
are
get
afraid of the
raided.
handicap.
Oh, boy.
They're it's handicap. I ain't doing nothing with that.
This
Serious.
is
Well,
unbelievable.
speaking of parking fees, now did they raise, what's going on with the parking fees? How,
They're robbing us.
They're
blind.
raising the hours of
Not you,
ticketing
They
I
want you
mean to 10
You have to
o'clock
pay
at
till
night.
midnight now.
till 10 o'clock at night. That's
why is that?
But the 10 o'clock at night ones are in certain areas. The areas of restricted parking, neighborhood, in the neighborhoods.
Oh, so it's not downtown?
No, it's not
So if I
downtown.
want to go to
Sure.
the Blue
That's-
Shamrock, I don't have to worry?
No.
How late and
I want to say 8 o'clock. And
8?
I know, and even that's kind of
yeah, because I know in New Hampshire, I think it's 6, and even that's a little.
Yeah,
difficult.
6 would be kind
Rita,
of all right,
the,
but
the,
If you go to
the
dinner.
parking people who give parking tickets, do they work for the cops or they work for the parking department? Who's their boss?
I would say Terry Ryan, the
That's-
parking director.
So they work for the parking department?
Yes, I would
Understood.
say that, yes.
Yep.
Well, do you have people tagging people at night?
In neighborhoods, if they're violating the restricted parking for the neighborhood restricted parking areas, like over by the college
Yeah.
and stuff,
Oh,
that
I
would be
see.
where they are.
I was
Yeah.
in Pawtuckaville. I have friends that live in I
Oh,
grew up
don't
in
tell-
Pawtuckaville.
Did we tell
No,
you?
I grew up in Pawtuckaville. I still have friends that live there, and I never. This was recent. I don't believe that it was always till 10 p.m.
No,
I
it started recently.
Yeah, I visited like 7:30, and I was playing outside with my niece who lives there, and I saw this woman in a vest walk over toward my car, and I was like, she was very kind. You have great people working in Lowell. I was able to move my car off the street before a ticket
Oh,
was.
good,
No,
good.
go-
I'm glad
why,
you-
why don't you have a police car like our city manager has a police car? Why don't you have a police car?
That's becoming very less common. It used to
not
be a thing-
Lowell.
Well, It used to be a thing that town managers would get one. I don't personally want one. It's a lot of liability.
Great.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, but
Park for free any place. No one will ever tow your car.
that's a good point. You've got the handicap placard. I'll work on getting a police car.
That's
I'll
what
just
you're
park
doing?
wherever.
Oh, my goodness.
Police cars are great to have. They see you coming down the road. They don't stop. They just wait, flag you through. It's
How many
great.
people have town cars in Tyngsborough?
Not
that
many.
I think Paul Welcome would have
Paul
one.
Welcome has one. Our DPW superintendent has one, and then both chiefs have a take-home.
How is, yeah, right. How is the DPW department working now? How's that working out? It's
While
a
he's
new,
pondering that question, you got 3 texts to read here.
go ahead.
If we're talking about granite, what happened to the granite structures that decorated the Pawtucket Canal on Central Street? She never answered the question I asked a month ago. Jay, you make a good point. Remember that?
This Jay has a personal vendetta against me. Why don't you write your name there instead of Jay?
What happened?
You're not scaring me, buddy. I don't really care.
is that?
You remember in the canal they had these Flintstone figures in the canal?
Yes.
Where did they toss them in the canal? I
On
thought they
Central
were-
Street, and I think Paul Songus had that put there. I know what, yeah.
They were ugly from day one.
Yes,
but
they were ugly from day one, and I don't know what happened. I never gave it a thought, because I
happy
didn't
to see
really-
them gone.
Yes, I
Well,
really
that
did.
one, now,
So
must
look
have
at Jay,
gone,
we're happy to see them gone. We don't care anymore. Rita,
Right.
But when I find them, I can put them in your backyard. How's that?
Rita has been great for the city of Lowell. Thank you for all the time you put into serving the people. It's a
Thank you,
thankless
Bart.
job. That's from Bart.
Now, there's my type of guy
He's the-
right there.
he's the president.
Thanks, Bud.
Rita,
How
how
much
much
money
money
does
does the
this-
city get from the cannabis? How much money does Tyngsborough? Is Tyngsborough expecting?
Gee, that's a good question. I really don't know. I don't have it off the top of my head, but that is a good question.
Okay.
Please forgive me for not having the answer, because the next text from you might not be a good one, but that's all right.
They're going to take away your handicap placard.
Yeah, there it is. I don't know, but that's great. And when I find the answer, I'll call John, and he can say it in another show. How's that?
That's great.
I
Colin, how
will.
much do you expect?
We've got one shop open right now, and annually we're generating about 1.2, 1.3 million in cannabis excise.
and what does that go to?
75% of that by vote of town meeting goes directly into our road maintenance stabilization fund and can only be used on road projects. The other 25% ends up in the general fund.
Wow,
What
very
roads are
good.
going to be worked on this year?
This year we've got we started doing 2 types of projects. We used to just, we would spend the $400,000 we got from the state and we would do work on like 6 inches of road because that's all you get for $400,000. We're now spending close to $1.8, $1.9 million a year. This paving season, part of the work is a preservation project, so we'll touch roads before they get into failed status.
Oh, good.
And so that's going to be, there's some work on Westford Road, not Bryant. Man, Linda, you caught me. I don't remember the exact preservation streets. And then we're doing a full depth reclamation, the most expensive project, but where we have to reconstruct the road, putting new drainage in the Elm Street neighborhood on Long
Okay.
Pond, which if you've ever driven on
Oh,
is
yes, that.
crater,
that
crater,
needs it.
crater.
Well, and it's a funny little neighborhood, that's a little odd. That's a very strange place to
It is.
drive through. I'm always amazed that a tough place for a restaurant because you can get lost getting out of there.
Yeah,
And getting in.
yes.
Just,
And the roads are very narrow, very
yes, oh, very.
tight.
I'm glad to hear about that. I was very happy to see Riverbend Phalanx
Yes.
approved. Now, that will get I assume we'll get money for it, actually, now. We didn't before.
Yes, we will get some. Our Chapter 90 formula will adjust slightly. The governor's Chapter 90 bill adds $300,000 to the amount of money Tyngsborough typically gets.
Okay.
Neither the House or the Senate has taken that up yet, and so obviously it's questionable if we'll get it. But yeah, when you accept new streets, you get a small adjustment. They won't be paved right away. They're not. They'll be now added. We had a public hearing about accepting them, and one of the residents said, "Well, if you vote on this, will our road get repaved?" And the answer is, if we accept it, it can be repaved. If we didn't, it could never be because we
Yeah.
don't have control over it.
Right. So it's possible, but I have to say that the planning board we had a bit of a bad time there with the planning board with developers, like up in Tower and that, you know, that we had a couple of developers that were very naughty, and they just left what they did up in that area was terrible. And so, but I noticed the planning board is very strict with them now.
Yeah, they
And,
set very clear expectations, and if you don't meet them,
Yeah.
rightfully so, they're not.
Well, and it's one of
Valid.
those things I don't think people realize with the stormwater regulations now, and you have to make sure that the runoff is controlled, that type of thing.
Well, this new parking lot we put in Tewksbury, the town insisted no water can leave the property.
Right.
So they have a hot top that's porous. So when it rains, it just goes right into the hot top and disappears.
Yeah.
You get a very heavy rainstorm, and there's a puddle at the end of the driveway that does not go out to the street. The sidewalk's like an inch higher than the hot top, so it saves all the water in the parking lot. It just goes away magically. Nothing goes down, nothing goes into the street to sewerage. It's great.
Even homeowners have faced with that new ones that when they make changes, because and that's a federal law, and because they don't give anybody any money.
Well, now,
do it.
see, if you know Donald Trump, you can get away with anything you want, so don't worry about it. Just call Donald and he'll fix it.
Okay, John.
No, the federal, it's the right thing to do. If you can imagine, okay, you've changed the oil in your car, and you got all these oil drippings in your parking lot. The fish don't like that water, and to put it in the sewer system, it's
Oh,
not
I
good. It's
agree.
not good.
I agree. But some of they have a heavy hand on the stormwater. There are certain, and I don't think the public, for the most part, realize what the regulations are now that they've set down. That the communities and the business owners.
Well, see, when they have the government makes the mistake of assuming that the taxpayers are stupid and they don't want to know why. And if you explain the reason that the water can't go out into the street because there's a lot of oil in the water and it's going to kill the fish, that's why.
Yeah, I think there's some
When
components, though.
you got to take time to explain to the public why you're doing so, and then they understand.
I certainly think that's true. I think, though, to Linda's point, the MS4 permit, which I think a lot of people expected.
What's MS for?
It's the federal stormwater permit. It's an M, and then there's four S's, and now I don't remember them completely. But it beyond just what it costs somebody developing a new parking lot, it places. It's a 5-year permit. I think that we're in year 5 now, and it typically gets renewed, although I think, we probably will see some changes to it. The amount of work that a municipality, for instance, has to do in order to be compliant with the MS4 permit or face fines. I mean, this year alone, the town of Tyngsborough we're probably going to have to spend $150,000, $160,000 on not things as simple as you've described, like making sure obviously oil doesn't end up in the river, but some of it is demonstrative stuff. I mean, I've got 3 big signs that each cost probably $4 or $5 grand sitting at the DPW building that have to be installed at random points in town so that if somebody's walking, they can read it and learn about the impacts of stormwater. I think it's things like that you question, is this really a wise use of
Well, Colin,
resources?
if you look back in history, I'm an old buckaroo. If you take the way the whole system was set up, when the city of Lowell came into being, the stormwater had to go to the street. The reason it had to go to the street is and believe it, it's a tough thing to swallow, but the horse manure had to get watered down so it would go down the drain. That was the only way they could get rid of all the horse manure they had. And so the fathers of Lowell understood that. And that's why cobblestones work, because everything would go into the cobblestones, would go down the drain, would go into the sewer system. And now we realize it's not horse manure was a natural thing that's going to deteriorate in the water, and the water's going to remain healthy. And motor oil, and I can remember growing up as a kid, seeing some of my friends pull their car with 2 wheels up on the sidewalk, and they would move the car closer to the sewer, so when they opened that little thing in the bottom to let the oil out of the car.
I never
It
heard of
locked
such
up
a
for that
thing.
now.
went right down the
nowadays.
sewer.
Yeah, they would.
You must have had a real rowdy group
No.
of friends.
Well, you lived in the country, they just let it go in the ground. And we didn't realize that, oh, that's forever. You can never get that back. You polluted that water forever. Now, the ocean, God bless them, wonderful things that happen in the ocean, how it can purify itself. But this plastic business, plastics, sorry, it's got to go.
Well, here's what they do. They don't even allow you to plow the streets and put it in the trucks, the snow in the truck, and dump it in the rivers anymore. But when it melts, it's going to go there anyway, isn't it? So you figure it out. It just gets there slower, that's all. But it gets there eventually.
Well,
But it goes
The
to
fish don't like
filtration,
it.
sort of
The fish
natural
don't like it.
filtration.
think of the fish. The fish don't like it.
Interesting, the fish have, now you've got salmon in the Merrimack, which is quite nice. I wonder if you're going to have, now that it's melting, I know, did you see Manchester having flooding issues? It's because the snow is melting finally up
Well,
north.
we're correcting a flooding issue over at Colley Stadium. That big.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, they took half of the parking lot, which is massive, and they dug a big hole because they have a flood reserve tank that they're gonna put in the ground. Because that neighborhood for many years were complaining about the water when it rains, it congregates on the streets and there's flooding and it gets in their basement and it's a mess. And now we're finally doing something about it. We finally have the money to do that. And it already started already. It's gonna end by next year, and the water will run off into the pipes and go right into that storage tank, and then it'll be pumped out to probably the filtration plant. So it's really great, and the people there are very happy. And then when we close it up and repave the whole area of Colley Stadium, it's gonna be landscaped so beautiful that they're gonna have trees and islands, and so
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Oh, there are some
proportionately nice.
pluses to it.
Yes,
to the
it's going to,
stormwater, but
and the people that are affected in that neighborhood, and every year, it was encompassing more and more people, and it was so sad because their basements are flooded, and it's not going to happen anymore, so we're very grateful.
well, we
for
know all
that.
about flooding in Tyngsborough,
Yeah.
don't we, Colin? I have complained about it since before it was built, the 40B on off Middlesex Road.
Yeah.
And the state stepped in, we wanted to control it, it's in the floodplain. And they said, oh, no, it's a 40B, it doesn't have to meet the same regulations. So the builder, who happened to be Trahan, at the time, offered everybody that moved in there a sump pump. Now, most people moving in there had no idea what a sump pump was or what it was for.
Yes.
And didn't take advantage of that. And of course, now their basements are all flooded. Because it
so
is in the
sad.
floodplain.
Oh, dear.
And, I'm adamant about the floodplain on conservation, and to the point that I will not support anything in the floodplain. There are a lot of things I can work with the people on, with homeowners and businesses that I'm sure we can work, like stormwater. You can come up with a plan, and one of the issues to me with stormwater is the maintenance afterwards. They can come up with wonderful systems.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to, we're making sure they put in a maintenance program.
Sure.
And Jeff is particularly
Yes.
on top of that all the time. But, it's dangerous. They don't understand that. They say, oh, it's 100-year floodplain. Yeah, but Protected Boulevard flooded twice, 2006, 2007. And, you can't be putting, and I remember one of the developers was going to build on a piece of property near, on Protected Boulevard, and said, oh, well, we'll make sure that they notify the owners when they buy that they can't have children in the
wow.
basement. No, you can, no.
Wow.
And we all know, human nature, people change and they add and they put extra rooms in their basement all the time.
Yeah,
So
right, that's
It's a
right.
danger.
Well, the flood's coming back, and to build next to the river, magnificent view, but someday,
Yeah, and
Your
that's why I was
property's-
talking about Manchester now. I think it's an issue. I
well,
think,
we were at flood stage the other day.
yeah.
Like, 52 is flood, we're at 53 feet.
Now, in Tyngsborough, we fixed that dam,
Yes.
and it had been cracked since the 80s. I remember when it cracked, and it's been an issue, and so we've fixed that. The center of town looks pretty nice. I love your sign now.
Thank you.
I love your sign. I was not in favor of it at the
So this
time.
is from the, oops, put the picture back up again. From the audience, this is Middle Street in downtown Lowell, which connects to Shattuck Street. I don't know if you guys can see this whole message, but it says, how about this? Look at the sidewalk. It's been like this for a long time. But in front of every school, the sidewalks do not look like this. That's from Jim. Cobblestones work if installed correctly. How about Shattuck Street? Okay, you want to speak to that, Rita, or are we good?
A long time, but it's in front of every school. Yeah, I have to take a look down there. I'd have to go. I can't quite
Well,
understand.
the city, now, we don't have the towns don't have this, but when the city, over the years, they incorporated the stormwater into the sewer, and then, again, the feds came and said, you can't do that
Yeah.
anymore. And that's your biggest stormwater issue, and I know you're doing
Yeah.
sections every year.
Yeah, we're doing Centerville pretty soon,
Yeah.
yeah. It's going to be an inconvenience for the people in Centerville, but hey, it's like paving a road. You rip up the hot top, it's all unsightly, you're inconvenienced, but the after effect is beautiful. And that's what's happening with that. It's a federal order, it's a consent decree, and it's more or less unfunded, so it's
That's
very
what I'm talking
expensive.
about.
And if you don't do a certain amount each time when they tell you, they fine you
Oh, yeah.
severely. It's
Yeah.
humongous, the bill. So-
But the issue, you're right, at the end of the day, the result is going to be excellent because
Yeah.
the stormwater, you won't have
That's
some of
right.
the issues, and then
And
Duck Island won't
And
be.
some of the pipes are 100 years old, for God's
Incredible.
sakes, and they're
Yeah.
not wide enough to carry the load of the extra people that have moved in the neighborhood and the buildings that have been built. It's tough, so.
But at least with this law, as you move on, and they change the building site, they're going to have to make sure that the water doesn't leave their lot.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right,
That's
that's
one
right.
of the pieces of that puzzle. So it's got an upside, right, John?
Yes, let's save the fish.
Oh, my goodness. So we started off the city council meeting last night, and as we do every week, we kind of have people come in that we highlight, and we highlighted the American Red Cross. So having said that, Eric Gitchia is the chairperson of nonprofits, and he had one of our people come along, a nonprofit, which was the Red Cross. And I'm telling you, I just want to say I'm very excited about all the good things that they do that we don't hear about on a day-to-day basis. But if there's a fire, they're there. If there's flooding, they're there. They rely on volunteers, and I said that I'd be on the show today, and I would mention the Red Cross and all the good that they do. And they offer CPR courses. I will say non-certificate courses to give you an overview of CPR, because they're not at liberty to give you the certificate because they're not set up for that. But there's so much that they do for so many people and look for nothing in return, and the food that they dish out and the housing, they try to help you, and they sustain you with a fire and a flood, and they do so darn much. And I just wanted to say thank you very much to the Red Cross and all the volunteers that make that help people in time of disaster. And, you know, the floodings that we had and the fires in California, and they're there to help.
You know, I wasn't in favor of the changes in the dam, but the bladder dam.
Oh, the bladder
What a
dam.
difference it's made.
Yeah.
And it certainly made a big difference for us upstream, because
Oh,
we
yes.
don't have
Oh,
the erosion.
And we're going to go to break later. We'll be back. Gone, and
Okay.
you're going back on now.
They never went off.
No, they're off.
Heat transfer. Welcome to City Life. My name's Linda Bown. I'm your host. I have Colin Loiselle, Town Manager from Tyngsborough, and Councilor Rita Mercier.
Yes,
from
it's a
Lowell.
pleasure to be on with you,
Oh,
Colin.
the pleasure is all mine,
Yeah,
Councilor.
thank you. It was wonderful.
Actually, he's a local boy, a Lowell boy.
Oh,
So
very
it's
nice.
nice to have him back. We're very fortunate.
So you must know our Tom Golden.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very conscientious, does a lot. I'm very excited to say that we've talked about the Hamilton Canal District, and I just want to say that parcels that are there that have the 11, 12, parcel 13, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Parcel 13 is designated for open space. Parcel 18 is the city-owned garage. So these two parcels are not for sale, but we're about talking of an interest with parcel 15. So the only two out of all those parcels is 16 and 17 that they're available for sale. So if anybody out there is a builder and they want to, even if you're from Tyngsborough, come on in and take parcel 16 or 17 at your choice and come on down and buy them and develop it. But anyway, I just thought I'd say that because it's been a long time that we've had no activity there, but
So
it's
now
getting
they're
there.
back on the market.
Yeah, out of all those parcels that I said, two are not available because one is open space, one has a garage on it, so there's only two that are for sale out of all that, so, and we're working on parcel 15 now, so there's activity going on, so, I'm excited about that,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
good. So,
I wish when they, God bless you, John, the whole jam plan, I always thought that when they did the lot overpass, there was going to be some way that people could cross the street there. From
Good luck
the
with
station.
that. Good luck with that.
Because the whole point is you have it, the station's there and the governor, God bless her little heart.
There is a crosswalk. There is a crosswalk that's.
There's crosswalks, but they take their life in their hands.
No, there's good traffic signals. It's just that the people over the depot, they immediately, Lowell, see this, jaywalking's legal in Lowell. People think it's legal.
Well, I know. And blocking the intersections is legal in Lowell, too.
And they underjudge the amount of traffic that's on Thorndike Street. And they should be encouraged to use the crosswalk, but they don't.
Right. They're all over the place.
And the city's done what it could. They have these big, long planters. You can't get on the sidewalk. So I'm going to cross the sidewalk wherever I want. Well, okay, you get to the middle of the street, there's these huge planters that you can climb over them, but it's a PIA. And it should, more education. I don't know how to educate the train riders. Look, I just walk down to the traffic light and cross. But they don't want to do that.
Okay. So dangerous.
he's got his pet peeves, doesn't he? Oh, my goodness.
Well,
And
he
I
has
hear
his
them all
drone.
when I come on down here.
And he has his drone, so he
And
can
I
check
still love him, so that's all right.
I still love you, Rita.
It's okay.
So, Colin, what we talked about during the break was, where do you want to put the firehouse? Okay, now here is map of Tyngsborough.
Yes. So if we go zoom into to where it says Tyngsborough, because I think that's the center.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Now,
yeah, 113, there you are.
Yeah, 113.
so kind of between 113 and where it says 266 Pizza, right behind Middlesex Road, where you can see the triangle, a little
Yep.
south.
Yep,
Oh,
down.
You want to go down?
I'm gonna go south. Yep. Okay,
Yeah,
right
right,
there.
right.
And now, just above, see where 113 crosses Upper Flint Pond? A little up and to your left.
Flint Road?
Yep, now
Yep.
across 113.
We're gonna
Going
go
over towards
here?
the no, going towards the
266
pizza place.
No,
That
to
white-
the right,
no,
to the orange.
right.
Go to the orange.
Now, down, straight down. There you go.
Right where your cursor is almost. Just a little bit below that. Yep. Perfect. So that, right below Little Angels is, looks like a driveway across from Enterprise Bank,
Yeah, it's.
on the same side as Little Angels.
We'll put the satellite up
Yeah,
there so you can
perfect.
see what's what.
All right,
Okay,
so
that's
if we
better.
go just a tad bit down Middlesex,
We're going down?
yep, right there, bingo. So right now you see Littlefield Library and then the building that says Town of Tyngsborough. And I want to just say that there's been no decision made on the location. This is just what we're targeting. There's two, so that whole parcel that you can see surrounding Littlefield Library and what says Town of Tyngsborough, which is really our Winslow School, that's the Winslow School parcel, 250 Middlesex Road. On that parcel, working with an architect that designs public safety buildings, we've identified 2 locations on the site that would work for a new fire station that meets Tyngsborough's needs. The first, and what we've said is the most advantageous, does require that you take down the Winslow School. And essentially where you see the Town of Tyngsborough, that building would be gone, and the fire station would go...
Right here?
Yep, that building would be gone. The fire station would go the long way.
What do we
so
use this building for now?
it has been vacant since the
Well, I
early
went to
2000s.
school, John.
Well, don't turn it into the Smith Baker Center, just knock it down.
Oh, I was gonna mention that to Rita.
Oh. I
And,
hear no
So
talk
I
on
think
it.
this is a great idea. Now, do you guys own this too?
Yes.
So knock this sucker down, build a gigantic firehouse, and put some handy dandy traffic lights out here.
Yeah, I do want to just say, because the Winslow School is a sensitive subject in Tyngsborough, the second location on the parcel that would work is on the grassy field behind the Winslow School. There are some limitations.
Right here?
Yep. The limitations with that is that the building would not be able to accommodate drive-through bays. Obviously, it's ideal for us to have drive-through bays. Our current fire station doesn't, so it's not the end of the world. But if town meeting was to appropriate some large sum of money to restore the Winslow School, we could still build the fire station on that site. We own the property, we don't have to buy any land, and it would fit behind the Winslow School. We're only in the schematic design phase. Town meeting last week approved the funding necessary to do a schematic design, which will just focus on the actual building, and like I've been saying, we could plop that down on any raw land if for some reason the Winslow School site didn't pan out. But the most ideal would be taking the Winslow School down, putting the fire station in its place. That parcel connects to the Evangelical Church parcel, which the backside the town owns. And so you would have access to Kendall Road, which is where our current fire station is, but all of the apparatus, like you were showing, John, would exit onto Middlesex Road. There'd have to be a new signalized intersection. That would, of course, only activate if the apparatus were leaving. We're not at the point where we have construction funding. We'll do the schematic design, get firm numbers, and then ultimately town meeting will have to decide when it's ready to fund it.
You have to ask yourself, how soon do you want the fire truck to get to your house? And if you can save 5 seconds, just hold, next time you light a candle, hold your hand over the flame. How soon do you want to move it? Fire is fire, and a heart attack's heart. You guys do your own ambulance, or
Yes.
you have Trinity?
We do our own ambulance.
So how soon do you want the ambulance there? Is the ambulance going to be in this building too?
Yes.
How many ambulances you got?
We have 3 ambulances, 2 that are in service daily.
Okay, good.
But does the fire truck go to?
Yes.
Yeah, they go too.
Now, can I ask you about that? Originally, when they went for the town ambulance, it was going to pay for itself. That isn't happening,
Oh,
is
it
it?
is?
It is?
We did have a few, the first 4 years, I think, were tough. After 2020, they started running in the black. We just certified the fiscal year 24, so our last fiscal year, they ended up, I think, 17 or 18 grand over their expenditures. That is less than what we anticipate, because in that fiscal year, they bought a new ambulance.
Okay.
And they had some capital funds, but a lot of it they took out of the ambulance enterprise fund. So it is at least breaking even. And it sounds dirty to say that the ambulance enterprise fund is making money, right? Because it's not a business. But all of the money that we collect over our operating expenditures just goes back into buying new equipment,
Okay.
new ambulances eventually.
So it's a separate, it used to be part of the fire department.
Correct. It's still under the control of the fire chief, but from an accounting perspective, it has an enterprise fund. So
Okay,
it's
similar
supported
to water and so, okay.
Exactly, yeah.
So, now, do you have, Rita, on trash do the people pay for trash pickup and,
We have a bill that's called water, sewer, trash, so it's a combined
Oh, it's combined.
bill. Yeah, but thank God, I wouldn't want to have to get into a line and go to a landfill and dump it out.
how is our little area doing off Bryant's Lane?
Our yard waste drop-off site is doing
We've
fine.
had some issues, I know.
We had a couple issues this year, minor issues, but still issues with people dumping things they're not supposed to. But we went all season last year without any
No
issues.
problem,
So
that's right. I was surprised, I saw something in Tyngsborough Talk that some landscapers were dumping and that type of thing.
Ring cameras have helped a great deal.
Yeah, no doubt.
Comments from the audience.
What is the age?
Colin,
of-
how old are the fire trucks in Tyngsborough?
Fantastic question. We have in October, town meeting approved the purchase of a brand-new fire engine. So our primary engine one that responds daily, is a 2024.
Okay, good.
We have a 2020 and then a 2015. Our ambulance is a 2023 and then a 2018, I think. Our oldest piece of apparatus is our ladder truck. That I think is a 1998. It's still running. It's in relatively good shape for as old as it is, but replacing it is on our capital plan.
Good. It's page 2 here. Shouldn't Colin be getting paid as much as the city manager or more? He should ask for an extension now before another town scoops him up. Golden is a chicken for not coming to the show. Well, that's,
Don't be telling Colin he should be getting more money and going.
I am very fairly compensated, and I like my job. I'm not
Well,
going
I have
anywhere.
to say, when Colin came, he's quite an amazing man. He didn't take what unlike most, what the existing, most managers come in and they not only want what the existing manager is getting, they want above. And he took less because he said he would wait until he had more experience.
how
than I-
Colin, good question, because Lowell does this all the time. Will you be able to develop on the parcel of land without parking? How much parking are you gonna, for the new firehouse, how much? So if it is turned into the place where we're gonna vote, where would the voters park? Just another consideration.
Yeah, so there is minimum parking. I think that our plan calls for 30 parking spaces. All of our apparatus will be inside, so you're talking about, I think we have 5, sometimes 6 full-time firefighters on at a time. There's not generally a lot of visitor traffic to the fire department, so 30 spaces is what we're targeting. Certainly, though, if we were to move voting there, that would be insufficient. I will say on that side, we have 2 voting locations in Tyngsborough, one on the east side, which is in a school, and one on the west side, which is in our elementary school. The flow in the elementary school works well, so I don't know that there would be an advantage to taking it away from the school and putting it in the fire
there's
station,
the people who
but
want to keep the pedophiles away.
Oh, they close.
they close the schools for voting.
Yeah, they do. We do in Lowell. We close the schools
So the
and
pedophiles can go? Gotcha.
You know, I
Well, there's no
broach
kids
that
for the
subject.
pedophiles there. Wandering the streets instead.
Good points, thank you.
Yeah. I think one of the issues probably that on that message was that because Lowell now on the housing that surrounding the train area, that they didn't have to have parking because they're anticipating, the governor is anticipating them using public transportation. Now, should we adopt something like that with no parking? How would they ever, I'm trying to keep my language good.
Yeah, I hear
Gonna
what
get
you're saying.
to public transportation.
they called it a particular district and they said that you don't have to have a requirement to parking. So it's almost the same as the area down in the corner of the connector where John is
Heinz.
very upset with that. Heinz Tavern being torn down
Well,
and
Rita, if
putting-
you pay 300 grand for a freaking condo, shouldn't you have a parking spot?
Yes, but I'm trying to say that we didn't want to vote for it, but, I don't get it.
Well, we had to.
They offered up us the opportunity to vote for something that we couldn't make up our mind to do what we thought was right. They said you have to vote for it. So why did they give us the option to vote for something that they said we couldn't get out of it? We had to vote for it.
Now,
How are you lose all your grants?
You've been,
That's right.
we've both been around Lowell just as long.
So what could you do?
You have to rail against it. Absolutely not. We're not going to do this. Tell the governor we need a place to park.
And Bill
when
Rick
she
is
comes
fighting
to,
for
and
it,
when she
too,
comes to the meeting here,
against it.
tell her to park at the depot and walk over to the city council. See how she likes it.
Yeah, that's right.
She doesn't. She parks on the frickin' sidewalk at City Hall. And the
well,
governor's out of
near
her
the
frickin' mind when it comes to
sidewalk.
parking.
He's got me violating the parking law now.
She's got a handicap
Oh,
placard.
So look at
my
this one
God.
Park
here.
anywhere.
I should have specified the question parking was directed towards Rita Mercier.
On
On
the
the
parcel
parcel
for
for
sale.
Oh,
I don't know what
Yeah,
parcel.
what parcel?
on Hamilton, the jam plan, the two parcels.
Oh, someone wants to buy it now, and you want to know if there's parking. Oh, I see. There's a garage so very close,
Yeah.
but I'm sure they'd allow you parking. That's not the district I'm talking about. The district is over by the train station, so I'm sure there would be parking.
Well,
Yeah.
there's, right now in Boston, there's fistfights happen in neighborhoods because there's no parking.
It's very important. You have a car, you want a place to park.
Well, I
that
can't even
vehicle.
imagine, how are they gonna get their groceries in? Let's try to be
They're
realistic.
trying to say that this society is prevalent on walking and biking. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't want to have to park in a garage and walk like a mile or whatever to my house with the groceries. I don't know, that's simply me.
Now, in
Maybe-
Tyngsborough, you did a much different thing when it came to that allocating the land.
Yes.
So,
What'd you do?
We have 3 MBTA compliant zones. One is the development that Linda was talking about earlier, right on the river. It's already developed, so for somebody to tear down relatively new housing to build new ones would not be feasible. The second we put on a parcel of land that has some pretty serious topography challenges. It's really up high, infrastructure is weak in that area. And then the second, and what I think we've viewed as the most likely for development at some point, is the parking lot at the Pheasant Lane Mall. But they just opened a casino, and so they're certainly not going to sell off any parking. So we are compliant. We didn't lose any grant funding.
Wow, that was creative, very
It
creative.
is very creative.
If we should have thought of
You
something
can't
like that.
have them. You cannot have them.
Well, I
Anywhere.
like Tom, but when he retires someday,
So we and look, I've said before, the MBTA Communities Law was the wrong, it didn't solve what they wanted it to solve, and to force, I mean, you mentioned you have to vote on it, but if you vote no, you can't really vote no. I still don't quite understand how, and these communities fighting in Milton is a good example, Billerica, Middleton.
Yeah,
It's one thing to say that the town has to attempt to pass zoning, but how do you say that in Tyngsborough, for instance, town meeting has to vote a certain way, and if they don't, we're going to hold you accountable? You can't force people to vote
Right.
a specific way. So it is interesting. We're compliant. Other communities are fighting it, and so I keep telling people, we have a lot of residents that don't love it. I don't think it's the best approach, but other communities are spending, their money fighting it, and if they're
Yeah,
successful in
they're
overturning
fighting
it, a simple town meeting vote could get rid of the zoning.
Oh, yeah, it's one of those mandates the governor does that she doesn't have a clue. It's like putting
Well, it
the
didn't
refugees
make us
in
very
taking
popular,
over the
I'll tell you
conference
that.
center. She didn't tell you, she didn't tell the manager, she didn't tell the rep, she just came and just did it. And that's pretty, an iron fist there that I don't appreciate. And as far as the MBTA housing, it makes no sense. We don't have, if the state is going to mandate to anybody, the state needs to clean their act up and get a proper public transportation system. And then we'll be very happy to be compliant if I can jump on a train and get somewhere, but I can't. I can't even get in, it's
That is
insane.
such a good point, and we talked at the beginning of the show about how it would have cost us $350,000 a year to add one single bus route on Middlesex Road. That wouldn't even touch the entire town, but it would touch all 3 of our MBTA zoning districts. But if the whole point is to promote transit-oriented development, in Tyngsborough, you can't take public transit to the Gallagher terminal and take a commuter rail. It doesn't exist.
It would, no, and even if you jump out onto Middlesex Road and stop the bus, you don't have that time, you'd have to get up at 4 in the morning,
I'm gonna
and
do
the
the
bus
announce-
doesn't come
I'm
by.
gonna do the announcements as quick as I can. If you want an announcement on this show, just send me a text. Easiest thing to do. So today is the 14th of May, and the City of Lowell Senior Center is proud to have lunch 7 days a week. So if you go over to the Senior Center today around 10:30, go in the front door, you're gonna see a nice gal, her name's Tara. Give her $2. If you don't have the $2, just tell her you don't have the money and she'll give you a ticket for free. Today you're gonna have chicken breast with rice. Now out in Chalmers, Chelmsford, we have today we have Asian pork, mixed vegetables, rice, and pudding. So good services that the town provides. Rodney Elliott's having a party
Oh, yeah.
this week, tomorrow. May 15th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the China Star, always a delicious stop. 1733 Middlesex Street. Hope to see you over there. That's tomorrow for Rodney Elliott. St. Michael's Church. If you're cleaning out your house, you got a bunch of clothes that are gently worn, got some sheets, whatever you look, I'm going to clean out, spring clean. I want to make some room in my house. Bring it over to St. Michael's Church. Take your fancy phone over the TV set. Take a picture of this. This is what they want, and they'd be happy to give it a new home. This guy's name is Jeff Kuna. He's a WRKO Talkmaster, and he's having an audit the legislature rally this Saturday, 10 to 12, and down in Boston. So if you're interested, I'd like to see you down there. Vesna Noon, he's having a party. City Council Vesna Noon, a fundraiser, Saturday, May 24th, 7 p.m. to midnight, at the Sampaio Mies Restaurant, 450 Chelmsford Street in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts, $50 a person. It's going to be a nice place to go, be a good time, and you need to RSVP. There's 2 phone numbers down here. So take your phone over the TV set, take a picture of this, and call those folks up, let them know you're coming. Neighborhood meetings, the City of Lowell Police Department says when the neighborhood meetings are going to be. So the next neighborhood meeting is back Central Street, and that's going to be tomorrow.
I'm going to one tonight.
Where is the one tonight?
Centerville, with Sandra McNamara. She's having it at the Greenell School. It's at 6 o'clock tonight.
Okay, well, it's just not on my list here, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So that's neighborhood, whatever neighborhood you're in, and when you're there, ask them to be in touch with the police station, so it goes on their
That's right.
their
That's
billboard.
right.
It's not, they don't know about it, so. Okay, this is, if you know somebody who has cancer, this saint is great for helping people with cancer, Saint
Peregrine.
Peregrine. He's the patron saint of cancer patients, anointing the sick. Immaculate Conception Church is having a mass. May 28th, Ascension Thursday Eve at 6:30 p.m. Plenty of parking over there. Father Sinella, a good guy. Thank you for doing this. Dan Finn, he's running for city council. He's having a party on May 29th, 6 to 8 p.m. at Cobblestones, right in downtown Lowell. Suggested donations, $10. Corey Robinson, he's having a party. And that's going to be on Friday, May 30th, from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Dompolsky Club. And good guy. If you like Councilor Corey Robinson, head over there and enjoy his party. Monastery of St. Clair. Whenever I need prayers, these are the girls I call. I call the sisters, they're called the Poor Clare Nuns. I give them a call, leave them a voicemail, and they'll pray for whatever you need prayers for. And I'll tell you, they've worked miracles for me, so I'm very grateful. And they'll probably work miracles for you. Noisy trucks in Chelmsford.
Oh, God forbid.
They don't like noisy trucks in Chelmsford, and they're clamoring about this. And Evelyn Thorne's promising to bring a guy. Everett Olson's going to be coming to talk about this pretty soon, and we'll know more about that on that day. School's almost ending. Tewksbury's bragging about it already. The last day of school is June 17th. Every community. Colin, do you know when Tyngsborough gets out?
June 17th.
Same thing. Okay, cool. So pretty soon you'll have all those kids home. That's our last announcement. Back to you, Linda.
Oh,
Oh, that's cute. Is that you, Linda, at
Yes.
NASA?
No, this
That's a
proves that
space
you-
shuttle?
All you need is one smart woman. to
Oh,
run
there it
everything. That's all
is.
you
isn't
really
he
need.
good?
That's
Isn't he good?
beautiful.
I will tell everybody, most women are superior thinkers to men.
Wow, a compliment. I'm shocked. Thank you, McD.
Well, now you're going to be doing your budget for the public.
Yes.
Let's talk about, when is that?
May 27th on a Tuesday. the
That's when
last
you vote
Tuesday
for it.
in the month. That's when we peruse it, and we can level fund it, we can accept it, we can decrease it, but we can't add to it, so.
Well, okay.
But we did have the school department and Liam Skinner, the superintendent, come before us last night begging and asking for $4 million more because we cut him $4 million and he needs that. So we all lobbied the city manager publicly. We can't do this at budget time, but please get together and try to work something out because the students are our future and they
Yeah.
need all the help they can get. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I have to leave. I have to go to work.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. it's
That's why I wanted to
almost
just
that
find out what is coming up there
time. Yeah.
on your
Thank you
budget.
so much. Yeah, it's gonna be a $617 million budget. Yes, it's a,
Now, are there subcommittee meetings where people can go and,
yes, we have more or less, they're at 5:30 before the city council meeting starts. City council meeting starts at 6:30. We had one last night. I happened to be on it with Eric Gitchia, Corey Robinson, and it was a very interesting one about nonprofits. And we had St. Michael's School and we had the Red Cross. So, and I'm having one next week on a Thursday at 1 o'clock. It's a roving city council meeting, and it's going to be over at the senior center with senior issues. So we take that on the road, so to
I
speak.
saw you I know you have to go, you only have a couple of minutes. Yeah. I saw you raise your eyebrows about the Smith Baker.
Smith Baker, I like to give him a chance. I'm that type of person that just one last chance. Is there anybody out there that can offer? And then we had a group of people that were very interested to.
Have
do
you seen
something.
Disney's movie with the song Let It Go? Let it go,
Let it go. I gotta let it go and go now.
You should ask them
Oh,
to play
no.
It was
Pleasure
a
to
good
be
thing
with
to
you.
end on.
Oh, you're so cute.
Uh,
Let it go. We'll let it go, McD.
Thanks, McMahon. You're
Thank
the
you.
best.
Thank you so much for getting up, coming
Bye,
in.
everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, Jay. Watch this show, and there's a number on the end of it. If you think that you want to come on, call that number, and I'll be watching you. And I'll call in, but I'll be much nicer to you. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you. So, it's always very entertaining having Rita Mercier on. But she always does respond. She's like you. I have to say, in Tyngsborough, I get to talk to a lot of people, and you've got a pretty good open door policy
Absolutely.
there.
It makes it so much easier. I mean, nobody would benefit by me locking myself in my office and not talking to people.
No, nobody did.
Yeah.
In the past, I know. I'm glad that the town meeting went the way it did. I mean, they didn't have much choice, particularly in question one. And it was unfortunate that it's fallen in your lap, and the new chief. The people that were directly involved with that weren't here any longer, and so I hope that we can sort of not have that type of issue again. I don't think we will. So I'm pleased to see that different departments, now I think next time you come just about every month, we can get Allison to come with you
Absolutely.
because of what's happening at Ironwood.
Yes.
In the open, at the concerts on the park. And I go by that park just about every day at some point, and they're doing a fine job.
Yeah.
I see people, I see people walking there every day.
All day long.
No matter when you go
Yeah.
by, you see people walking, so it's being utilized. I don't know how the bocce and everything's gonna be? What's the process of that?
Well, I mean, pickleball is still like the big phase. And we have 6 courts. Almost all of the courts there for the other sports will be just kind of come as you go. If you're interested in playing, you play. But what we will likely do is you will have to RSVP.
Oh, she forgot. Go ahead, Rita, you forgot your pocket.
Well, while she's here, we got this post. Miss Mercier, you're the best.
Oh, what a lovely end. Look at that.
Thank you so much.
That must have been Jay that wrote that.
Must have been Jay, right?
Bye-bye. Yeah.
So the pickleball, because it is such a popular, in-demand thing, 4 of them will be reserved. During the day, you can go online and sign up so that there'll be people to play. 2 of them will leave open as open play courts.
Okay, now when you say you can go online, for people that don't go online,
Yeah.
can they go to
Yes.
recreation, or where do they go?
Yes, they can go to the recreation department or just show up because we'll have 2 that are reserved for just whoever's interested. My understanding, and I don't play pickleball, although I will learn, is that in the surrounding area, UMass Lowell has several courts that are available for public play. The town of Drake has some. People sign up, whether it's through Drake Recreation or through this online form, in advance so that they know they'll have someone to play against. From what I understand, these are the more competitive folks. So we'll have 4 courts that are reserved for that type of play so that and that won't be all day. That'll be, in the morning, there'll be some hours, and in the afternoon. So there'll be somebody there, but then there will still be others that are available for you to just show up as you choose and play.
And the other things there, the bocce, because I don't know how you play bocce. Do you bring your own equipment to
Not
play
for bocce, we'll have that. We have equipment for everything. The problem is we don't have staff yet to, have somebody there all the time. So
Yeah.
Allison will spend a lot of time over there in the summer. But yeah, bocce, you would use our equipment, and the only one that we'll have some sort of advanced sign up for is pickleball, just because of the nature of it. Everything else will be come as you.
Do we still get some of the youth from? Oh,
I'm going to read
Jay should know better. You don't tussle with Rita. This isn't her first day at the rodeo, but that's true.
It's probably easier to fix the craters on the moon than fix the roads in Mass. Maura Steely is lining her pockets. Miss Bown, you never get accountability from government. No one ever gets fired. All government officials do is blame you and raise your taxes. When 70% of your funding comes from the state tells you how to run your city. They can always pull the funding if you don't do what you're told, and that's all it takes.
Well, that's true in a city. We don't
yeah.
we don't even get that kind of funding.
No.
They get it for their schools, but they did strong arm everybody with that
Oh,
on the
absolutely.
housing. But going back to does the town get any of the youth corps? Do they because they used to that there would be some the youth corps which was run out of CTI, and they would have some of the kids would do certain things. They'd work with the elderly or whatever, and maybe that could be something that could help that park.
Yeah, we do get, I'm not sure I've not heard of youth corps, so I'm not sure that we still do, but all of the schools in town, they have some level of volunteer service requirements.
Yeah.
Innovation, for instance, every year they do twice a year they send 15 to 20 students out into the community. They work with our Center for Active Living to identify seniors that need the help, and they rake leaves, they pile them
wow.
up. So we do get, and obviously Tyngsborough High does something very similar, so we do get a lot of that from the kids in town and the various schools. I don't know that we get anything from Youth Corps. I don't know
what that's an old program. I'm sure they've updated it to something else, but I'm sure there might be some programs out of CTI.
Yeah.
And I was a lifeguard when I was in college. I know that I'm sure that there are kids and in high school, there are kids that would athletes particularly, that would enjoy a summer job.
Yeah.
So there may be a funding source out there or something.
There is definitely a funding source. We were just, one of the things that we're looking at for our DPW is something similar to hire seasonal students to do landscaping in the cemeteries, for instance.
Yes.
Drake does something like that. I think they use juniors and seniors in high school.
Yeah.
And there is a state program that provides the funding, so that's something that we're looking at.
Yeah, I know that, I remember that
Yep.
they had, and I suppose I would assume that, I don't know what is gonna happen with, speaking of the DPW, they're gonna be responsible, as you say, for a lot. They have all the schools. Is our department, they're gonna be stretched.
Yeah, they're already stretched very thin, but they're very innovative. Summertime is tough because you're right, they're responsible for the field maintenance at the elementary school. Bicentennial Field is a huge complex. That takes a half a day just to maintaining the Sherburne parcel. We are still very fortunate that we have a handful of, not really volunteers because we do pay them, but of retired residents that still, because they enjoy it, help out at the cemetery. So they get paid an hourly rate. But, I mean, the cemeteries alone, mowing, weed whacking, picking up trash, that's an incredible amount of work.
Yeah.
So that stayed relatively status quo because, our budget can't support hiring full-time people over there. But I think, we've got the right economic development going on that certainly in the next couple of years, I envision being able to add people to DPW. I think our fire department needs additional staff as well. It's very incremental because the budget can only grow so much.
There's also the park along the river, off
Yes,
Cross
riverfront.
Road.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful park to walk at.
Absolutely, right on the river. Parking is tough because the parcel is kind of,
But I've
narrow,
seen,
but it works.
I've walked down there and you'll see people have little family gatherings and things down there. It's a wonderful, it's a gem, I probably shouldn't even talk about it.
I know.
You don't want. I
you'll
don't
never get a
wanna-
parking spot now.
No, I
everyone
don't want to
knows.
encourage people, but people go down and
But you get the
fish.
handicap placard
Yes.
that John
yes.
was talking about. You can park anywhere.
That's right.
But they fish down there and things
Yeah.
like that, so. And anybody, it is fishing season, make sure you go get your license.
Yep.
Because we do have, I know a lot of people fish at Flint. That's pretty nice what they did down at the.
That bridge is gorgeous,
Wow.
right?
Well, I'm not going to talk about them.
No, not the one near the new dam.
Oh, it's
The one
beautiful.
the state did.
And anybody that likes to fish, Flint, that whole area is a wonderful place, but.
I don't know where you're talking about, Linda. I'll put the map back up.
Okay,
We can
back
discuss
to,
it
back
better.
to the, well, anybody that knows where the old town hall, where my office was, that little slip road, that I think they call that Flint something too.
Yeah, I think Flint Road.
Well, Flint Road is down a little farther. Flint Road actually is across
Back to
from the
Mr.
church.
Map here, so I'll
Okay.
zoom out. Now, what are we talking about? This is a big
We're on
clock.
113.
Okay,
See Upper Flint Pond?
go here,
No, Upper Flint Pond, on the other side of the river.
right here.
There you go. Right in there, that's where, see, there's the Flint Pond, and there's the one of the bridges.
Yeah, it's the new bridge the state put in 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And you can
this
fish
is
off- you can-
right there, yeah.
Yeah.
You can fish
It's-
off this bridge?
And we were very fortunate to get the dam fixed, because the
Yeah.
state isn't doing many, and they're letting them go.
Okay, so I get my grandson, and we're gonna go fishing. Where do I park?
Right there, look at the parking.
Right there.
Don't you see it? Go,
Here?
right
Yep.
there, yeah. That's all parking.
Okay.
And but see, that isn't really Flint. Flint is farther down.
Is it Upton?
No, it's not. Upton is part of Flint. See, there's Flint. See that little
Yeah.
circle? That's Upton.
Okay.
Funny
That's
enough.
Flint Pond Road.
That's Flint. But see this little strip there down, go to Old Town Hall, coming down towards come to the right. My right.
Over here?
Right, no, back, right there. That little road is right next to the fire station.
Okay.
That's the driveway to Old Town Hall.
Then where is Flint Pond? then?
Flint
No.
Pond Road is the one
But
next between the
see-
fire department and Old Town Hall.
Okay, now see Old Town Hall. Which building are you saying is Old Town Hall?
So where John's cursor is, or was, that driveway is the driveway that goes past the Old Town Hall to the moderator's house is back there.
Yeah,
And then you've got Your
Okay.
office is right off on the left there.
See the vacant spot.
Yep.
Now that road, that really isn't Flint Road because
Yeah, you're right. So that's what we call it. There's a sign on it that says that, but the residents over there told, I don't remember what they said it used to be called.
it was called a different thing.
Yeah.
And-
Now I don't remember.
Because it's confusing, because if you keep going up Kendall Road, John, going up that way, the,
One more.
one more, you're gonna see, there is, nope, find
There's
about.
Flint Road. It's right here. It's listed as Flint Road.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So you have two Flint Roads, so maybe we
Yeah, it
can
is.
rethink that. I know that they started calling that
What
Flint
about
Road.
Linda Bown Drive? That's got a good ring to it. I'll find out who I have to talk to about that.
Yeah, right, they'd love that. But anyway, so the fire station is on, it's confusing though, I would think, only because the fire department knows. It's like when on the other
So
side,
Linda, getting back to the fishing pond, okay?
okay,
Yeah.
go down that
Is
Flint
this
Road,
the
there it
fishing
is.
pond? This is what we're talking about right
Yeah.
here?
Yep.
Great fishing. Great fishing,
And
As long as
do
you have a
to live in the
license.
town?
No, state property.
yeah.
Do I have to have a fishing permit?
You have to have a license.
Yeah.
I have-
To fish
I
anywhere in
have-
Massachusetts.
Linda, look, I just.
No,
I
not for Tyngsborough,
I
no.
have a driver's license, okay, so what are you talking about license?
You go to the town clerk and get or I don't know where you get it in Lowell. In Tyngsborough, you get it from the town clerk.
So if I go to Tyngsborough Town Clerk as a Lowellian, I can get a
Yeah,
fishing.
anybody, it's a state license.
And then I can go fishing any place I want in the state.
Anywhere, on Merrimack River, anywhere you want.
And if I don't have a license, I can't fish.
Right, the
Understood.
environmental police catch you.
Understood, so go get your
do.
fishing license, thank you.
Yeah, everybody should. I mean, and we do. See, I was fortunate, not this past weekend, the weekend before, I was bartending a party at the Sportsman's Club. And Jimmy Hussins came up and he says, I have a trout for you. 17-inch trout. Lovely.
Our
From-
library just released 80 trout in Flint Pond. There's a library program. they did.
Really?
Yeah.
So there you are, John, but get a license. Your grandson doesn't have to have one, but you
Well,
do.
I'm not the fisherman. In fact, when my kids were young, Ellen took them fishing. I never took them fishing. I don't care for fishing. I don't like the hooks.
Could you just go get Ellen a
Yeah.
fishing license?
I'll tell you, you
so
gotta
she-
get a license, honey. I know you're good
But
looking,
it's a
but you gotta have a
beautiful place to
license.
bring Luke if he wants to have learn how to fish.
Be fun.
It is, because it's not overcrowded.
No.
It's a lot, and the setting is beautiful now.
Gorgeous.
It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm trying to think, there's a bench and, yeah, so it's very comfortable.
Absolutely.
So, anybody that's interested, that's the place to go. It's, but you do have to get a state fishing license. You have to get a license in New Hampshire as well. But,
Nice job, thank you.
even to fish in, at the Sportsman's Club, you
Yep.
have to have a license as well as a permit. We have a
You're on private property, you still need a license?
Sure,
Okay.
I assume so.
Because you don't need a
must be.
driver's license to drive a car on private property. Why would I need a fishing license to go fishing in my own backyard or a private club?
Because people can bring guests, I don't know. Maybe they don't. I just assume you did.
Yeah, I think you might be on something, John, because
I'll
the
have to ask-
environmental police
I'll have to
couldn't.
ask Freddie Demers, he's a,
Yes, I really don't, now that you mention that, I just.
or
assume-
I'll ask Woody. At the Tyngsborough Sportsman's Club.
Yes, my boss when I'm bartending. So,
Woody's a great guy.
yeah, he
Place
works in
wouldn't
the
be the same
cemetery.
without him.
Yes.
So, people wear multiple hats in Tyngsborough.
Oh, yes, that's for sure.
It's, they really do a lot of volunteer work. And speaking of the Sherman property that you mentioned, I was down at the Voc and mentioned to the superintendent there that it would be good if we could sort of work together, maybe even be getting some grants to have, because we had talked about this before, about maintaining
The Sherman House, yeah.
the Sherman House. And I think we can possibly reach out to the Voc.
It's funny, actually. Emily, our conservation agent, met with, and the woman's name is escaping me, but a woman that runs a program at Greater Lowell Tech, but is also friends with the Sherburns. They met out there a couple weeks
Oh,
ago.
good.
And she had
Yeah,
all
we had
kinds
talked about-
of
yeah.
she had all kinds of ideas. And there are some state grants that we'll be in the running for that open up in the fall. I think our biggest priority is the roof, because there's some parts of the roof that are certainly not sufficient, and so it's not.
So this is a comment from Jay. He's trying to make up with us. Once again, another home run show. Waking up with city life is a great way to start the day. On a different note, Colin's mom is one of the nicest persons I've met. That's from Jay.
I would tend to agree with that.
Well, see?
It's going to score me some brownie points. Thank you, Jay.
And it's nice. Colin is local. He came back, and that's one of the things that, people, and people make comments about, it's just going to be a stepping stone. I don't think so.
No.
And I think that that's why we're so fortunate. We have a young, talented manager that's going to be around for a while.
Well, recently we had a burial at Tyngsborough Cemetery. So I was talking to the guys. I said, "How do you like the town manager?" They stop what they're doing, look at me. We love the guy. He's great.
Yeah.
He knows everything that's going on. He's not brand spanking new. He knows the town. He's a good manager.
I know it's easy for me to just say that I'm not going to use Tyngsborough as a stepping stone, but I talk to managers all the time in other communities, not just in this area. You don't know what you have until it's gone. There are places hiring all the time. People are retiring that pay slightly more. I like my job. We've got you talk about volunteers. I mean, Tyngsborough relies heavily on volunteers. Our volunteers know the community. They're passionate about the community.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about staying in a place that you're familiar with, and there's just so much happening in Tyngsborough. We've talked about just a small sampling of it.
Yeah.
I have no need to go.
Well,
anywhere else.
the town's going to grow. It is growing, and we all look forward to it going with you because you're reaching out, and as you progress, we're going to support you financially because
I'm very fairly compensated.
no, but I think that that's an issue with people and
We got to get you a police car.
I want that live, yes, with the handicap placard. Next time I come in, John, I'll be parked on the sidewalk with my cop car and handicap placard.
Comment from the audience, and it says, you need a license, get it up there, you need a license to fish, but you don't need one to vote. Good point.
is a very good point. But see, we at least we protect our waterways and
The
things like that.
license is just greed by the city or town. It's a state license.
Yes,
Do you
they
get a
the
cut of
money.
that?
No.
No cut?
No. That's the funny thing. I mean, and we're happy to do it because we have a fantastic town clerk, Jessica Brunel.
No?
New, yep. She's starting her second year. But no, we give out you can get them online on your own, but most people come to town hall to do it. But no, 100% of the money goes to the state.
Wow. How about speeding tickets? You guys get any money off the speeding tickets?
So we adopted a section of Mass General Law that gives us a small portion of any speeding tickets that the state troopers write on Route 3 in our stretch of it.
Oh, good.
But the stretch of Route 3 in Tyngsborough is so short that by the time a trooper initiates the stop, you've probably now made it into Chelmsford or
Yeah.
Westford before you get stopped. So it's
Well,
not
Linda,
big sums of
Linda and
money.
I are going to get up on Route 3. We'll put speed it up. We'll put
Yes.
signs, speed it up.
Yes.
So, what's happening? What's happening on Upper Flint Pond? Is there anything happening up there? Seems to me something's going on. Where that? Remember where?
Oh, yes. Well, so nothing physically is happening yet, but that is I think you're thinking of the assisted living continuing care campus at
Yeah.
84 Kendall. They are still working on finding a way to connect to sewer. One of the things that one of
Oh.
our biggest infrastructure challenges is that we have limited sewer capacity, just like everybody else. We rely on Duck Island. The warehouse project that's being built next to our DPW building, they're constructing a private sewer network. And so they've been in
Right.
talks with the owners of 84 Kendall about letting them tie in. And so once that's finalized, they'll be able to finish their design plans and begin the process with the planning board.
And for anyone that is curious why we have all the construction going on Kendall Road, that's a state project.
It's a state-funded project. That's the $2 million Mass Works grant that we got 2 years ago, which unlocked a parcel of land that will soon house 2 really large warehouses. and also has seen some slight improvement to the park and ride as well as to the DPW building.
And they're putting in sidewalks.
Yes.
To nowhere.
Correct.
But we must have
Well, to
them.
the Route 3 on-ramp. So if
Well,
you
I know,
break
so you
down,
could-
you have to walk back down.
Yes, but you're not supposed to be on the, walking
Correct.
on the, but they have a sidewalk going to it. But I know, just like the bike lane, I'm always
On
amused.
Westford Road.
Oh, God, we have them on West Road, and we're gonna have one on Kendall, I believe. Some part of it, because of that was, when they came to conservation, they had all the designs there. But you'd go into Dunstable and you get killed because
Oh, yeah.
the road is this big, you know.
That's one of the things about, we talked about the MBTA communities. One of the reasons it was so important for us to accept, whether we liked it or not, the zoning is because we do very well with grants. I mean, we're almost over $4.5 million just in this fiscal year alone in grants, and almost all of that comes from the state. When you take the state grants, though, you have to design, particularly the transportation ones, you have to include the elements of design that they prioritize, like bike lanes, which is why Westford Road ended up with a very small stretch of bike lane because we use state money on that.
You have to go
that
back and
portion.
forth, back and forth, back.
Yeah. It's incredible.
To get
But
your
we got a
mindset.
new road out of it. We got a bunch
Yes.
of infrastructure
Yeah,
improvements. so
and
the
that's right.
trade-offs.
Now you have some development going in
Yep.
there, which is kind of exciting and interesting for the people on the hill.
Tyngsborough will miss Colin when he sets out for greener pastures.
You are stuck with me for a long time. I hate to say it.
And this guy, Roni Camilli, your media guy,
Yes.
fantastic guy.
Ronnie's great.
Fantastic. He knows nooks and crannies. Very, very, very helpful. Right now,
And
we're
he'd
trying
like you to get more equipment, that he always tells me when I say, are we on
Well,
it?
well, you go out to Tewksbury. They got a truck.
Yeah.
Tewksbury's got quite the media team out there, and
But it must be coming from Comcast or Verizon or someone.
it comes from the taxpayers. And
Really?
Yep. So
God
I don't
bless
know what's the
Oz.
population of Tyngsborough.
12,390.
Yeah, so you got 30,000. You got twice the dough,
Yeah.
almost 3 times the dough. So, but Roni Camille, good guy.
Does a
Very,
great
very
job.
helpful. Yep.
And
very
he has a lot of people, volunteers and stuff
Yeah.
working for him. And they always cover everything. And
With very limited resources, he does a fantastic job.
well, I was when I checked the website, he lists anything you want to know, if you missed the town meeting, if you missed anything going on, when they can catch up. So he has
Yeah.
certain, YouTube, I assume. Is that what it is, that he
Yep.
has them on?
Yep.
That you can, call up and see. The town meeting, as I say, it was fast, but everybody was very well prepared. The presentations, I have to say, I thought the presentations were very well done. And so, God bless them. I suppose new people moving in don't understand that what a town meeting is. That they can, anybody, I love town meeting, it's the purest form of government. And you get to go in and say, as a resident, anybody can get up and ask
Yeah.
a question.
Absolutely.
It's-
And really, I mean, this is the reason I love local government. It is truly where you have the most input, whether it's coming to citizen to business time at the start of a select board meeting or participating in town meeting. It's understanding, of course, that not everybody has the time to be at every select board meeting.
Yeah.
But if you can make it to one town meeting a year, you can really impact the priorities of a municipality.
I've seen changes made
Yep.
at town meetings, and it's so, and you do have an open door. You have Jackie, and anybody can get in to see Colin
Yes.
if you have an issue or a question.
And we did just hire a new assistant town manager. Ours left in February to go work in Drake-It.
Okay?
So we just hired a gentleman, Sean Walsh. He'll be starting in June.
Oh, excellent.
So, yeah. So we're back
You
to
need
full
the help.
staff now.
That's good, that's good. And everybody's right there. You've got you've got the building department, just to one side, and now Allison's office, is her office still there?
Yes.
It's right between her, building and veterans, right?
Yes. Yep.
The veterans agent, the assessor's office is right there. Everything is very, anything you need.
It's right there.
And unfortunately, we're closed on Fridays.
Yes, but open late on Wednesdays.
Okay. I didn't know that, actually.
Yes.
Why,
When
why
we,
would you? No, this sticks in my craw.
yeah.
Why
We
would-
almost made it.
Why don't you be open on Saturday? Never mind Wednesday night. Yeah. Why don't you be open on Saturday?
I would love to be open on Saturdays, but then you got to pay more, right? We're paying.
Massachusetts, time and a half.
4 years ago, we did a pilot to say, look, we were open till 12 on Fridays. 1 or 2 people would come in. The library was closed, so we had half the building open because we share a building.
Yep.
So we did a pilot where we said, look, we'll stay open till 7:30 on Wednesday. Forget the 4 hours on Friday. Now our hours align with the library. And the thought process was, and I do believe it's been successful, is if you're working all day and you have to come apply for an abatement or pay a tax bill, being open till 7:30 gives you that ability. You can't leave work and come in at 11:30 on a Friday. So we were open for 34 hours before the change. We're still open for 34 hours. If we were to increase those hours, naturally we'd have to pay people more. But
I'm saying get rid of Wednesday night.
and get them rid of Wednesday night.
All the departments, but again, everything is right there. All the departments would, if you need something.
I'm taking that as a no.
Yeah, well, I think you should be open at night. Isn't Lowell open at night?
Nobody shows up.
Oh, well, see, they do.
They
here.
do here.
They do here.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the idea of being open on Saturday. Maybe one day we get to that point.
But I mean, what towns and cities should consider is an omnibudsman, a person that, okay, I'm here,
yeah.
I can give you a death certificate, give you a birth certificate, and I can help you with an inquiry for a building permit, and I'll give you, and you can email, he'll give you the contact information for the building permit guy. I think that might be in order to, you don't have to have every single department there.
Yeah.
But just somebody who can take, okay, what's your problem? Okay.
Well, that's not a terrible idea.
Okay, quickly. We're getting towards the end. Fire permits. When have they ended?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so nobody should be burning
Nobody should be
anymore.
burning.
Don't burn.
No more leaves. Don't burn. What if they have a container, like a drum?
I think that there are some nuances. I don't know them completely, so I don't want to give people bad advice.
I think you can do that.
Yeah, you
Because
should.
you have a grate over it and everything.
Don't burn. That's
No burning,
No burning.
folks, no burning anymore. So, but as far as other things, we can have chickens and things, chickens,
Absolutely.
goats. We don't have any limitations, do
No,
we?
Tyngsborough's a
On
right to farm
It's a
community.
farming community. So it's still maintaining a lot of its charm.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of area to it. But I'm very pleased with what's happening on Middlesex Road.
Mm-hmm.
I love what's happening at the old TJ Maxx.
Yes.
That's
440.
finally moving forward.
Yes.
Now, when is the arcade going?
It is open.
It is open.
It is
now.
open. In fact, they've been doing, I think that the 2 school vacation weeks back to back really brought people in for them. They had a slow start because it's kind of hard to know that it's open. It's in
Yeah.
the back of that parcel. But they've been open and they're getting busier and
That's
busier.
good
I've been
to
a few
know.
times. It's-
Anybody listening?
job in there.
I didn't. Yeah, because I just think they're doing amazing things. The developer, I'm very pleased with the developer.
Hey, we're almost out of time. Tomorrow, City Life, we got Evelyn Thorin, Bob Hoey, Sam Chase, and John Moses is coming. That's tomorrow. So time is short, Lynn. You got like
In fact, I'm
10
going to the
seconds.
physical therapy up there.
Oh, very good.
So it's a nice little area, and when that's completely developed, it's going to be.
Yes.
Everything's tying in up there. Well,
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, wow, that was quick. Oh. Bye.